Hello and welcome to my Stamina Warden PvP build. I'm gonna show you what sets I run, what changed about my Warden build, and the overall changes to Stamina Warden with the latest patch. So quick look into the character screen. I'm still Orc. I prefer Orc, especially now with the new mythic we are using. We get the sprint speed, we get some stam, some health, and some weapon damage and spell damage. I have 44 points in health. We want to push health a bit. I will explain that later. In 20 points in stam, resulting in close to 20k stam. That's enough for me to sustain my stamina. If you need more, you can of course drop some HP and put it in the stam, resulting in a maybe less healing from Polar Wind, but it will still be fine in that case. Mondos we are using is the Shadow. We're trying to hit hard with our crits, so here we are running Shadow, Buff Food, the usual Ozorga Smoked Beer Haunch, giving us max health, stamina, and Magicka regen. The health regen not really important because we are stage 3 vampire, reducing our health recovery by a lot, and arrows and steroids reduced by another 50%. Yeah, a cheap alternative to Ozorga Smoke Beer Hunch would be Jewels of Mithril. They give a little bit less stats, but much cheaper than Ozorga. Consumables, you're either using normal tripods, or you can use Essence of Magicka for the minor heroism. Those pods are kinda expensive, so if you're kinda short on gold, just use the normal tripods. And on back bar, we are running either Drain Stamina Poison, or we can also run Escapist Poison for the 4.4 seconds of CC immunity when it procs. Both are really strong, just depending what you actually prefer. Gear sets. Quite an unusual monster set I'm running. I'm running Mighty Chuden for the major resolve always up, so for me I can drop Ice Fortress. Mighty Chuden will also give one-time health and 1.5k armor. I'm running both the medium and divines with the prismatic enchant. Our front bar set is Stone's Favor, giving us weapon damage, penetration, weapon damage, and when we deal damage to an off-balance target, we get another 5300 penetration, and that's in general really strong because it has a really high uptime, especially in outnumbered situation. You can get uptime to about 100% on the penetration. And the reason we are using Battle Axe instead of a Maul is with a Maul we would have so much penetration we would actually over penetrate. So I went with the Battle Axe also to put my crit damage more, because Battle Axe gives 12% more crit damage. So Sharpen still stays, and we are using the Berserker enchant on top of it. Then we have it 2 times on our jewelry and infused with spell damage. I use spell damage here because usually when I play Surgery in a group and there's always a Magplar giving a minor sorcery, so my spell damage will get increased. When I would run weapon damage, I wouldn't benefit from the minor sorcery. But other than that, it doesn't really matter what you run on your jewelry. Can also be weapon damage when you play with the DKing group to benefit from the minor brutality. Completely up to you. Doesn't change anything about the build, only you benefit from group buffs in that case. So 2 times jewelry and infused, and 1 heavy reinforced chest also with the prismatic enchant. Our 5-piece on the back bar is Griffin's Ferocity, giving us 2 times crit, 1 time weapon damage, and when we deal direct damage, we gain minor force, which will increase our critical damage down by 10%, and minor expedition, increasing of movement speed by 15%. This is really important in combination with the new mythic we are using. As you can probably see, is Sea Serpent Coil. When we take damage, we get my Major Berserk and Major Courage, but we also get a 40% snare. Yeah, 40%. So with Griffins, Minor Expedition, we counter that snare a bit. Also we are using medium armor with Elude, giving us Major Expedition. So this will be already 45% more speed and balance out the snare of the Serpent's Coil. So we are running Sturdy Shield, defending 1H with the enchant overridden by the poison, and then we are running 3 times on body, the boots, the legs, and the braces, all in divines with the prismatic enchant. And as I already mentioned, our mythic is the Sea Serpent Coil, really strong. When we are full HP, we gain 40% damage reduction, so it will be kind of hard to gank us when we are full HP, or burst us when we are full HP. And when we take damage, we get the snare, as I already said, and Major Berserk increasing our damage done by 10%, and Major Courage increasing our weapon spell damage by 430. So great mythic, you just have to build around a bit to counter the snare. And with Orc sprint speed, with medium armor sprint speed, with Major Expedition from Elude and Minor Expedition from Griffins, we countered that pretty well. That's about it. Coming to our skills, quick front bar. Dizzy Swing is our main spammable here. The 2 tips isn't really that high because our main damage really lies on crit. And but in general we reach about 6.1k spell damage. I will put a screen on it so you can see the fully buffed stat, also with continuous attack, just so you know what the most stats you can get out of that build. So Dizzy Swing, the main spammable, also to proc off balance for proccing stuns. Then we have Executioner. When people are low, will deal more damage than Dizzy Swing, so usually you want to execute at like 20% or less. Then we have Deep Fissure. Deep Fissure got a change, which is kind of rare, to be honest. You still have the Shulks after 3 seconds, but they got a damage reduction, and then you have to wait another 6 seconds for the second Shulks that actually got a damage buff. So in general, if you want your full burst potential, you need to line it up 9 seconds before, which is, I don't know why they did this, because if you fail your burst, you have to wait another 9 seconds to build it up. I don't know why. That skill was completely fine, but they had to change it. Reason we are running Deep Fissure is because it implies Major and Minor Bridge, which is 9k penetration in general, and not penetration, it will reduce the target's resistance, but we say it's penetration in that case. So yeah, Deep Fissure here. Bird of Prey got a really nice change. We use it for the Major Expedition on demand, when maybe we don't get it from loot at the moment, so we can use Bird of Prey for a quick sprint. We also gain 4 seconds of snare immunity and immunization. That is new, really nice change. And while we are slotted on front bar, we get Minor Berserk, increasing our damage done by 5%. Also, they changed the Advanced Species passive. You don't get 2% damage done per skill, you now get 990 penetration. So we get close to 2k penetration for having those 2 skills slotted. Then Elude, giving us Major Evasion, 20% damage reduction from AoEs, and when we get hit by an AoE we get Major Expedition for 5%, 5 seconds, increasing our movement speed. Our burst ultimate is Dawnbreaker of Smiting, times really well with Deep Fissure. You really have to get used to, because you usually want to dump on your second fissure and it's super weird, but maybe you get used to it. Just try it yourself. Backbound. I'm using Blue Betty. We lost Magma, because Magma minor resolve we get from a skill now, so we lost some Magicka regen, and I prefer Blue Betty here because I can manage my stun better with heavy attacks. If I'm low on Magicka, I can't restore it with heavy attacks. That's why I choose Blue Betty, and the Magicka sustain on that build is over the top. It's really good. Then we're using Lotus Blossom. You can also use the green morph, which has a shorter duration but heals for more, and also some allies, but the healing difference isn't that big. So I choose Lotus Blossom in that case. Also looks pretty nice, makes your arm glow, and that in general looks pretty nice with the elude effect. So Lotus Blossom lasting 1 minute, so we save a lot of magical sustain on that. Of course, we got a expensive Magicka skill, which is now Polar Wind. Polar Wind got a healing increase. It still scales of our max HP, that's why we pushed it a bit. And completely unbuffed without toughness, it's already a 12k tooltip. And we get healing over time every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, about 3k, as I said, also 3k. This is completely unbuffed without toughness. And the good thing about Polar Wind, you also heal an ally with a burst heal, and the healing over time also applies to an ally. Also Duo Warden will be really strong. Both using Polar Wind, you will get lots of cross heal. Resolving Vigor, just the healing over time, that also got changed. The duration got increased from 4 to 5 seconds, and we get minor resolve for 20 seconds when we use it. So it will be 3k armor. That was usually the buff you get from Magma, and since we get it now here, you can easily drop Magma. And the reason I'm using Shuden, as I said, I can drop Ice Armor, because there's literally no spot for me for Ice Armor. Every skill I have on my bar is literally crucial for Warden. In medium armor at least. If you're heavy, obviously you won't be able to use Elude, so you can use another monster's head like Barlock to balance out the damage loss in heavy armor. So then it's probably fine. Then we have Leeching Mines. Reason I'm using Leeching Mines here is because we also get the minor lifesteal. You can use Living Trailers, but having to manage 2 burst heals kinda weird. Polar Wind is just a stronger burst heal than Living Trailers, so Leeching Mines is better here. Defensive ult, Healing Thicket, just great also for allies. If you're solo, you probably want Spell Wall, just personal taste. Champion points. Green ones really quick, Gifted Rider, War Mount, Ration, and Steve's Blessing. Then we have the blue ones, Ironclad, just 6% damage mitigation. That's really good. It's the more people on you, the more damage it will mitigate, so that's a no-brainer. Then we have Focus Mending to boost our healing more. 10% more healing done, applies to every healing skill we got. Then we have Exploiter. When we set someone off balance, or off-balance targets will get 10% more damage done from us. Synergize really well with stuns, increasing the damage done when we damage someone who's off balance. So in general, people who are off balance will always take huge amount of damage from us. And then we have Fighting Finesse, 8% crit damage. As I said, we try to push our crit damage really high, so Fighting Finesse here with the 8% bonus hit really strong. Red ones, Pain's Refuge, no-brainer, 20% damage reduction the more negative effects you have on you. Sustained by Suffering, another 150 Magicka and Stam recovery when we have a negative effect on us. Survival Instincts, when we have a status effect, 20% cost reduction to our core combat skills, which is blocking, break free, sprinting, dodging, all those kind of things. Not your skills, only the things I mentioned. And Relentlessness, when we stand or feared, we get major protection. So if someone dom breaks us or leap or an incap, major protection, 3 seconds, gives you time to recover by having that damage reduction. So yeah, that's about the build. I will also provide more builds for different playstyles. I have a heavy build and also an OCP build ready, and yeah, that's kind of it. Enjoy Warden, since it's finally really good now, and yeah, that's it for today.